Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Moral Panic with Christian and Paul. I'm your host, Christian Watson, and this is my co-host, Paul LeCrone. It has been a long while since
Yes,
one of these shows have happened.
been
A
a
very long while.
while.
Like
We're on the comeback tour.
comeback tour.
We're
It's
back.
funny.
Yeah, the comeback tour. We're back. We were
Backstreet's back, right?
Yeah. You were. What were you doing
Backstreet's
in that
back.
time? I was on a family
Well,
trip for like 10 days, and then we just didn't do a podcast for like 2 weeks.
So I've been everywhere. I've been up over to Michigan. I've been over to Utah. I've been everywhere. So
Oh,
yeah. When you do what I do and the steam starts picking up, um, you get very busy and very tired very quickly, especially if you're juggling a full-time student schedule at the same time.
yeah, that can be daunting.
So yeah, so I mean, that's why I seem a little bit tired today because I had to get up early in the morning, get to classes, and I got like when I get off of here, I got a radio thing to do. So I've been very busy. I've been very, very busy, but
Just
it's
rubbing
good
it
kind
in.
of busy.
You're,
No, no,
you're
no,
Mr.
no,
Mr.
no.
Galaxy. I've got the high
I
life going
wouldn't.
on.
I wouldn't wish this fate upon anyone. I wouldn't wish
People
this
in
fate upon.
steamy.
I wouldn't wish this fate
Living the
upon a single
dream,
person.
the influencer,
You're
to be
funny.
the public. You asked
You're
for this,
funny.
public intellectual.
You're funny. Yeah, I did ask for this. Whenever I complain, people are like, "Well, Christian, you did ask for this." I'm like, "Yeah, you know
I went to
I did
Starbucks
ask
this
for it."
morning. That was my day. That was it.
Starbucks.
Yeah. It's because it's the closest
Yeah.
coffee shop to where I live. There's no cool coffee shops. So I have to.
Starbucks is good.
leave
Hey,
the-
it's good. Starbucks is good. Let's
okay.
not.
It's. I go there if it's the only place around.
It's commercialized, okay?
It is.
And I think the best kind of the best coffee places are the ones that are not commercialized, the ones
Oh,
that
absolutely.
are local.
Yeah, the craft, the small
100%.
independent coffee roasters. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm sure there's people who
Yes.
think though that Starbucks is amazing coffee. And those people are wrong because they haven't had the good stuff. And they're corporate
As
shit.
I mentioned, we can only work with the concepts we have at our disposal, and if all of us have primarily had Starbucks at our disposal, then that's going to be the only thing we can compare it to.
And I'm talking about Starbucks because I have no idea what we're talking about today. You didn't tell me.
Well, so we're basically a few things. It's gonna be on the fly because again, that's how I am. I'm spontaneous. Mikey's gonna be coming on. He should be coming on at 3:30, which is
Yeah.
very shortly. He should be coming on, and I think that's going to be a very energizing conversation. How familiar are you with Mikey Harlow?
I watched Dangerous Rhetoric's interview with him and just finished it, and then watched one of his YouTube videos, and that's it.
Yeah, so I think you've gotten a good taste of who he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what I saw so far. Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems like a fun
and
guy.
so
I'm excited. Yeah.
I've been promising him that I would do a show with him. I've been promising him that I would. So we've been promising each other that we would, but we decided to do it on this channel first because, well, YouTube doesn't like him very much for some reason.
I heard. Yeah, they don't like
YouTube
AP.
strikes him quite.
Yeah, I heard. Oh, I'm here to examine my internalized homophobia. I tried to dress up as great as I could with the flannel, and I don't have any MAGA hats. So I just decided to.
Oh dear. Well,
but I've got a black V-neck in the closet that I can throw on.
A black V-neck.
Yeah,
I like V-necks.
I do too.
So cool.
I do too. I think, yeah, V-necks look good on guys. You can pull it off.
Look, I'm not the person to. Yeah, I'm not the person to talk to about style and stuff because I could care less about fashion.
You're just nice. I like that. I like button-ups.
I do.
I don't like polos, but I like
do.
button-ups. I like patterned button-ups or patterned button-ups. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. I try to dress nice, but some people have very highbrow standards. Oh, Christian, if you're not wearing a $1,000 Ralph Lauren or polo shirt, then you're not dressing right. I'm like, well, you got some Ralph Lauren money from. Got some Ralph Lauren money for me, man? You got some Ralph Lauren money? You got some of that? Yeah, you're right, it doesn't. It's how you wear it.
Right.
It's how you wear it. Right, exactly. So I get all my stuff from the thrift shop. I proudly get all my stuff from the thrift shop.
Yeah, that's a good place to shop, because with like JCPenney and Gap and the mall core shopping places, it's like these are the styles right now. You don't get to be unique. It's just, oh, you wear what everybody else is wearing who also shops at H&M and JCPenney and Gap. But if you go to a thrift store, you don't know what you're going to find, and nobody else is wearing that shirt.
Speaking of not knowing what you're going to find, did you watch my interview with the porn star?
I haven't yet. I heard it's really good, though. I haven't done my homework. I'm sorry. I've been doing real homework for school.
No. Trust me. I think that your time is probably better served doing other things.
I want to watch it, but I like the thumbnail.
Look, a lot of folks seem to like it. Look, when I bring on people like that to my channel, I'm simply trying to extend the variety of conversation that I already have. Right? Yeah. I'm not trying, when I say I want us to be pensive, I am saying to a certain degree, you have to get uncomfortable, or you have to be comfortable feeling uncomfortable. To a certain degree, you must if you want to grow.
It's also just interesting content. It's just an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, goodness.
With an unusual lifestyle. Those are the sorts of people I love talking to.
Unusual. Well, okay, unusual. I'm not sure if it's so unusual in some corridors of society, but we won't talk about that too much. Well, it actually is quite typical.
I think.
Well, most folks are not sex workers. Well, okay. Most folks aren't sex workers. Well, yeah, they could be on the down low, right? No, most folks are not sex workers, but a lot of folks mimic the propensity of sex workers in their life. I mean, hookup culture is kind of exactly that, really. Like, there are people on my campus that will brag about their body count. I'm not sure if you know what that is, Paul. Maybe you do.
They do what?
They brag about their body count.
Oh, whoa. What kind of school are you going? What is this, prison?
No. Oh, Jesus, Paul. Oh, the look on your face, dude.
On a new podcast co-host. I can't be doing this. Redacted. Jesus.
Oh my God.
Body count. No, the amount of people. That
oh God.
That's what it is, right?
You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
My body count's one. I'm what is it when you only marry one person, or you're only into what's the word? My five.
We call it a sane, healthy person. You're a sane, healthy person. Well, first of all, I don't have a body count, and I'm happy with that because I don't. First of all, why are you calling it a body count? It sounds like you're like a serial killer who's taking notes about, okay, that body there, got that one. Yeah. Okay, I shot that one. Okay, I stabbed that. I'm like, what in the world? Don't call. And this is the same phraseology. Can I go on a rant here? This is the same exact phraseology that leftists use to conceptualize the human being. They call black folks bodies.
Yeah.
The black body. And it's not even plural. Not even plural. Sometimes they'll use it. Sometimes they'll pluralize it. But most of the time, they are referring to black folks. They're using the word body to refer to an abstraction of what black folks are. Because in that entire sector of thought, their race, skin color is descriptive. I mean, whether it's W.E. Du Bois, who's kind of one of the forerunners of that kind of collective understanding of black folk, writing the book called Soul of Black Folk, where he talks about how black folk need to do certain things collectively, which their existence is understood that their race is dependent upon. Whereas you have Washington, who was like, well, maybe you should just worry about your own individual life, worry about what's going on in your own community, cultivate skill and be excellent in your private life. Du Bois was like, well, maybe, but no, we're more concerned about trying to change the society. And I think that for Du Bois, that was actually quite important back at that time because he was trying to fight against, the use of force against people in an unjust manner. But the problem is the sort of activist mentality for Du Bois went way much further than that. It went much further than simply trying to stop yourself from being interfered with. So it's just. Anyway, so here's my point. The same phraseology is being used when you have that has been transported from this sort of left-wing lexicon that is being used to refer to human beings like that. And I find that troublesome. Don't you?
But I don't. I don't know where you're going with that. Yeah, no, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Body
no, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
It's a strange choice of words.
Yeah.
I honestly thought you were joking.
No, I wish I was. No, there are people that literally walk around and say,
my body
my body count. Yes.
The average person is just going to think you're a murderer. Like, so obvious. Like, seriously.
Well. I wish I lived around more. Some of the Earth people, Paul, are some of the nicest folks I know. Some of the nicest, most wholesome folks that I know. Some of the Earth people who just do work, embody the spirit of Americana. I would much rather be around them most of the time than I would some of these city folk. And I'm a city folk.
I'm sorry, can I read a comment? It's Brentley.
Paul's please.
Paul's naivety is so adorbs. Thank you.
I wish I had your naivete, darling. I really wish I did. I just call you darling? Excuse me.
It's really
didn't mean
funny.
to do that.
I like it's moment of self awareness. I'm as straight as could be, but it tickles something fun within me to hear comments like that from other guys. It's like being called adorable. I like it. It's cute.
Paul. Oh man.
Like
you don't want any of that.
Don't call
Paul,
me adorable.
You don't want any of this. You don't want any of this, Paul. You don't want any of this.
Speaking for
you don't want my hell. You don't want my hell. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're an individual. Okay, one of my favorite people. I'm sorry I've been ignoring the chat. Bob said that kind of stuff is very common. Degenerates are normal in universities. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We're all naive about something. Yes, that is the case. Yes, that is. Yes, we are.
Well, I am reading Dostoevsky's The Idiot, which is all about being naive and being oblivious.
So I have a list of thinkers I'm trying to get through in my own personal time, but Dostoevsky is actually being expedited in my study. Dostoevsky. How do you say his name? What's his name?
Dostoevsky.
Okay, hold on. Crap.
I'll say it even slower than I already did.
Paul, I will hurt you, man. Okay, say it again.
Dostoevsky. I actually don't know the correct Russian pronunciation, but when I say it like Dostoevsky, it sounds like I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Okay. People need to help me out here. I cannot English.
If you're having trouble with this, good luck reading his books, because the names of his characters have like 4 nicknames and they're all spelled out fully with their first and middle and last names.
Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I was not going to read Dostoevsky. Whatever his name is. I was not going to read Dostoevsky for a while because I personally don't find him that interesting from the synopsis I read. I know Peterson loves him. Peterson also loves Jung. I wasn't really going to read that stuff.
Fine. I mean, if it's not attractive,
but my school is expediting my learning of Dostoevsky. I'm having to read.
What does that mean?
Making it faster. No, expediting, Paul. It means making something faster.
Expedite the process to make something.
Yeah. Make something faster. Right.
I thought it was being canceled. Okay.
No.
Okay. So, like, what? In what way? What are you being?
So I'm going to have to read the entirety of the Brothers Karamazov or Karamazov, whatever they call it. I'm going to have to read.
That's the longest book of his.
I'm going to have to read the entirety of the Brothers Karamazov.
I love that one.
This semester. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm trying to get through a lot of books, man, and now I have to read
him that you read. What you said, because I read this synopsis. Like, what is this synopsis?
I mean, most of what I know about Dostoevsky comes from Jordan Peterson, and
for a lot of people that's true.
Anyway, I just wasn't interested. But hey, I'm going to be reading the Brothers Karamazov.
Psychological literature. He wrote about psychological themes and religious Orthodox Christian themes. If that stuff doesn't interest you, don't bother. I love it.
I'm going to be reading a lot of Dostoevsky, or whatever they call it. Whatever they can. Look, and I'm going to give.
I don't understand why you weren't inclined to read him, just because. Was it like what Jordan? Is it something that you don't personally find interesting? I'm just trying to understand why. I'm not trying to say like your reasons for not getting into him are wrong. Like everybody has their reasons. I'm just genuinely curious as a friend.
Yeah, I think Peterson has a tendency to almost put some of these thinkers on pedestals, and I think no, really, I do.
I can understand why you would say that, though.
I think he has a tendency to do that. Now, he obviously doesn't say go ahead and worship these thinkers. He doesn't say that. But in his lectures, he has a tendency. Okay, you're freaking out over here, Paul. What's going on?
Because he's talking to an audience of people who are interested in psychology. Like his students. His students sign up for his courses who want to take lessons in psychology. Well,
even in his interviews, though. Even in his media interviews, though.
Okay, sure.
Okay, hold on. Let me look at the chat. No, I don't put Emerson on a pedestal. I just like to cite him. I think, and I would never exhort someone to go ahead and read Emerson if they didn't want to. Emerson's a very difficult author to read because of the way he talks. It's very poetic. It's not very analytical. It's very poetic.
But is putting somebody on a pedestal like a bad thing? Like, I like celebrating good thinkers and good writers, like just a celebration of them. Like, hey, this person was so smart. They wrote all these great books. I'm just going to make sure more people know about this person because they're not talking a lot about. That's sort of what Peterson did to Dostoevsky.
I also have an aversion to reading some authors who are like very popular in pop culture, because what happens there is when you read those authors and you begin citing from them, people begin to tie you in with other people, right? People begin to say, "Oh, you got that from Peterson or whatever."
And I fully admit that I did. Like, so what?
And hey, no, that's fine. I don't want people to associate me with that.
Yeah, celebrating greatness is itself a great thing. Yeah, I'd see. But okay, when Peterson talks about Dostoevsky, it's like that he's not faking it. He's been so influenced by his work, and it comes across in the way he talks about it. Same with Nietzsche and same with Jung. I want to talk more about. I'm going to be called fucking clone of Jordan Peterson on my channels because I want to talk more about Dostoevsky.
Look,
I think it sucks for the people who want to talk about him because now they're going to be compared to Peterson. It's like, what? I fully admit that I get.
Let's break this down. And Mikey should be on in a few moments. Hopefully he's not late, but we'll see anyway. Let's break this down, okay?
Settle this once and for all.
It probably is a bad idea to say I will not approach thinker X because thinker Y is associated with thinker X. It's probably a bad idea, and that's probably not intellectually fruitful. However, when you're trying to establish your own interest in your own beat, thinker X can make you seem like a clone of someone, right? Or a thinker Y. If there was some popular person going around the country and speaking about Emerson, using a political commentary here or whatever, I probably would not like to. I probably wouldn't like to quote Emerson as much. But no one talks about Emerson these days except people in literature class. So I talk about them. But look, if I read the Brothers Karamazov, whatever, okay, I need to do what Bob said. Write it out I'll write it out phonetically. If I read the Brothers, you know the name, and I find some pretty interesting themes that are philosophically relevant, let's go for it. Let's talk about it. But am I going to be preaching about Dostoevsky? No, I preach about other things. So we all preach about different things. Okay, I missed some more people. Brentley made a comment up here. Okay, if you think that's a lot, take a gander at Dylan Roman's Twitter. Phew, I was not prepared. So Dylan Roman was the man I interviewed the other day, Paul, and his Twitter broadcasts his activities.
Yep. What? Oh, like
Paul. If you look that up on air, Paul, you're about to see it, Paul. Lord, Paul.
What's his Twitter handle? No, this guy's two followers.
No, do you really want me to tell? Okay, it's Dylan Roman 9. People, do not look that up, please. It's Dylan Roman 9. It is Dylan Roman 9.
Roman 9.
Oh, Jesus.
Somebody, I'm a fucking boomer. I'm having a hard time. Dylan Roman 9. Why is he not showing up? Mom, I need help on Twitter.
Okay, you know what? I'll just send this over.
Chat.
No, don't post it.
I haven't seen the interview yet.
Okay, let me. Okay, I sent it to you in this. Yeah, do a live.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of porn on Twitter. I've known this forever.
You were just so your reaction.
Can I screen share?
Like, no, you may not. No, you may not screen share. No, you may not. No. Jesus.
You know how many followers I would lose if I retweeted one of these things?
Why would you do that? I won't even retweet it. What is wrong with you?
It's like 91 retweets on these things. Oh my god.
Oh Jesus. Well, most of those accounts are anyway.
Bots? Yeah, probably bots.
No, they're not. No, they're not bots. I wish most of those accounts were bots because no. Most of those accounts are unfortunately real people. You read some of his comments. So he posted a tweet about our interview, and I was just I do not go on his Twitter. I do not go on his Twitter. I don't do that. But I happened to see that. Somehow. Oh Jesus! I happened to see the tweet he posted, and one of his commenters was named. I can't say the name, but it was like Boston. A very vulgar name which details a certain kind of sexual activity which I think is dangerous, but a lot of gay men seem to think is very fun. And that is having anonymous random sex with people, and having as much as you can within like a day or within like a few hours so you can collect a record. And most of the time it's unprotected. So that was his name was referencing. And he was like, well, I cannot believe that white supremacy, I can't believe that Christian Watson denied white supremacy exists. That's so wrong. Then I look on his Twitter and he's like, yeah, guy, I just got gonorrhea. I had sex with about 40 men over the past week, and I just got gonorrhea.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and one of his commenters are like, it's okay, man, it happens. I'm like,
I just like how everything just delves into white supremacy. Just everything. Nothing.
Apparently bad decisions. What happened to Super Chats? Bob, YouTube and I are going through a tiff right now. COVID has shut down their mailing operation, so they have not been able to send me the PIN that I need to verify everything. So I'm gonna have to wait 3 more weeks, and then I'm gonna verify everything, and then they'll be back. So that's why ads stopped as well. But I've been dealing with this for about 4 or 5 months now. But don't worry. Yeah. YouTube is a competent man. Okay. What the hell?
Oh, I'm surprised.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Let me hide that. Oh Jesus. Oh no. Wow. Okay. That's disgusting.
Moving on.
That's okay. Where is Mikey at? That is disgusting.
Yeah, we need an expert in here. I'm clearly not an expert on this topic.
Okay, where is Mikey? Yeah, that is absolutely terrifying. I'm so sorry you met a person like that friendly.
To be fully buttoned up at this point.
I'm so sorry. This is such a crazy episode of Moral Panic. I swear. I bet some people here are actually panicking.
So gross. Lord have mercy. Agree. Next time we have a national conversation about this.
But here's the thing, though. That kind of behavior is very common amongst gay men. I mean, let's just be honest. What if I told you that upwards of 50% of gay men suffer from some kind of body image issue? Like young gay men.
Sure.
Like serious. Like so what happens is,
how do you want me to react to it?
what happens is, no, you don't have to react if you don't want to. But look, women suffer from this as well. A lot of women will say, okay, how do I look? Does this stress me? So body image is not something that is inherent to homosexuals, but it is something that is exemplified by the typical homosexual lifestyle. And there is a typical lifestyle of a lot of young. This is not everyone. There are plenty of couples that I know, and this is not everyone. But there is a typical lifestyle that says, okay, you have to have this kind of body, and this is, again, it's true for straight people as well. A lot of men like the Kim Kardashian figure. A lot of them think that's the image. A lot of them think that's the image. The Kim Kardashian overinflated breast, overinflated bosom, and this kind of stuff, when people don't measure up to it, makes people. But here's the thing, though. I think being heterosexual has been more common throughout history. Well, throughout modern history, so much so that it's been able to develop standards. There are still certain things that are accepted as common standards in the heterosexual dating world. Like, for example, guys typically open doors for women. Guys typically open doors for women. The guy that typically asks the woman out. There are certain things that are constant.
Is that a sexuality thing, though, or is that just good manners? But then, the good manners.
Okay, but the good manners have been tied historically to the relationship between men and women.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, and when I watch TV. I don't watch TV. I go on the internet and I see all these things saying, okay, this is what women want. Women want this X, Y, Z. I'm like, why are we trying to dissect what women want? I don't know what women want. I guess you have to go ask the woman. But there are entire dating coaches and pickup artists whose entire goal is to get men to know what women want, to sort of psychologically mess with them for the purposes of either dating them eventually or have sex with them eventually.
Well, we just get caricatures of what advertisers want us to think that X, Y, and Z people want. And it's just a caricature.
Yeah,
There's no depth. And that's what we're seeing today. So with LGBTQ cereal, this is what they want. They want rainbow cereal, and they want puppies and rainbows and flowers and flags.
We've talked about that. We've talked about rainbow cereal. Yeah. We've talked about rainbow cereal. Oh, yeah. About
it's
all
just
that. Okay, where is Mikey at? All right, hold on. We're gonna pause the stream for a little bit, or I'll go off this. I'll go off the screen, and you can keep talking if you want to, Paul. I gotta check in and see where Mikey is.
Yeah,
I gotta make sure he's. So feel free to interact with the chat or something. So I'll be back. So
this is your chance to talk to a straight guy for an openly straight guy for the first time in your life. You should consider yourself very lucky, because these days we are becoming a rare breed. We are going underground. There is a war on. I'm kidding. I don't believe there's some genocide war on white straight people. I think that's bullshit. I think that argument tends to corrupt the more interesting and nuanced complications about identity. And what's your type of lady? My girlfriend. That's my type of lady. She's very well read. She reads Dostoevsky because I got her into Dostoevsky. She went to a very left-leaning university and made it out with her free-thinking facilities intact. So I'm very proud of her for that. And she also does stand-up comedy. And she's as cucked as I am on certain red-pilled thinkers. But not, her and I disagree on many things, but that's fine. That's why I like the relationship.
You are a wholesome man, Mr. LeCrone. Family values. You said, what's my type of women? And you said, my girlfriend. That is wholesome as hell.
Oh, thank you.
That's wholesome stuff right there. I like that. I like that, man.
Where can I follow? She does have a Twitter account.
I listen to too many. I listen to too much R&B for me not to say that as well. If I ever had a partner, I listen to too much I was listening to last night. I was listening to Boys to Men last night, and I don't know why I listened.
I do hold on. When we're holding hands, as a joke, I use both hands, and she thinks it's hilarious. I don't know. You were
that reminds me. That reminds me of It reminds me of a Blues Brother. The Song from the Blues Brothers, which is a great movie, by the way. At the end of the movie. Wow, you need culture, man. At the end of the movie, Jake and Elwood, who are the two Blues Brothers, they're dancing
spoiling
around.
the movie. Oh, at the end of the movie.
No, okay, I'll spoil. I mean, you should have seen it by now. But anyway, they're just like dancing around, and I think Jake is like, "Hold that man, hold that woman," and he's like dancing, and like everybody needs somebody to love.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful song.
Yeah, there's just something incredible.
It was meant to be a comedy. But I think that is still a great movie. I could watch the movie over and over and over again.
So where's Mike? Is he?
Oh yes, he's going to be here in 10 minutes. He's a little late, so he'll be here in 10 minutes. So we'll talk to him then.
Information superhighway.
Hey, late happens. I'm late sometimes. It's not a good thing, but sometimes people run into things, and I'm happy to have the dude. I'm happy to have him here. Look, a lot of people have been saying, so when are you going to do more collaborations with more gay conservative YouTubers? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Whenever I find someone who are interesting and who have something to say and have a brain, because a lot of gay conservative YouTubers seem to be primarily interested. And
yeah. Do you think that being against woke necessarily means you're a conservative? Because I don't think
hell no.
What it means at all. But a lot of people think, just because you're anti-woke, therefore you're a fucking MAGA,
right.
Trump supporter, Black Lives Matter coffee drinking.
Let's break this down. So the term conservatism, at its very root, obviously means to conserve something. And this is where most people begin and with their understanding of the etymology of the word conservative. So if we agree that we're conserving something, we have to then ask ourselves logically, what is that something? And in the case of the Anglo-American kind of conservatism, there are multiple answers. For the sort of non-foundationalist, like people like Michael Oakeshott, who is not a American conservative, he's a British conservative, but there are people who are influenced by him. The sort of non-foundationalist, the goal more so is to preserve norms that have been proven to work throughout history and provide stability and order to things, and this means norms in many different arenas as well. So this means gender norms. This would mean certain kinds of activities that concern the interpersonal relationships in society. For the sort of Lockean variant of conservatism, which if there's any variant of conservatism that I fall in, it's the popular Lockean one. It's more about preserving traditions and institutions that strengthen liberty, that strengthen the individual's freedom, that strengthen natural rights. And that's sort of foundationalist conservatism. And then there's all kind of in between. So there's sort of like nationalist conservatism that is more interested in particular kinds of institutions and particular kinds of norms rather than just norms generally. So there's sort of Iram Hazani, who is a very famous conservative writer, nationalist conservative writer, will talk about the family and how sort of nationalism and understanding the state as this sort of sovereign entity and being very glued to that idea is essential for the preservation of a nation, essential for social cohesion. And this also means that certain cultures are also essential for that as well. So we should prioritize certain cultures over other cultures. There's all kind of strains and variants of conservatism. Is MAGA conservative? If it is, then it probably falls along the lines of sort of Hazoniite conservatism, if there is any. But I think MAGA is pretty populist. And populism can be either left-wing or right-wing. It has no inherent political tenor to it. It's a strategy. It is an attempt to rile up, in that temporal moment, the sentiments of the people, right? The people. And what does that mean? The people are an amorphous abstraction. What does that mean? That the people want differs. But there tends to be some themes that are consistent in populism. One of those themes being the sort of adherence to the elite versus the peasant, the sort of old Marxian dialectic. Most populists on both the left and the right will transport the dialectic, perhaps not exactly from Marx, but it's the same kind of thing. And they'll reduce all political calculations to that dialectic, and then they'll proceed forth from there. Okay, our jobs are being taken by the businesses over in China. Therefore, we need to go and make sure businesses stay right here in the United States. Yeah. Okay, now what is the justification for that populist rhetoric, though? Is it that you think that Americans deserve jobs over here? We don't deserve anything. I don't deserve anything except to have my rights and liberties preserved, and I already have my rights and liberties in my possession. I don't deserve to say that American workers deserve jobs is to say that American workers have a claim over the property of their boss, when that's not necessarily the case. Their boss has claim over that property. You don't deserve someone else's property. But the populists will say, oh my gosh, America, we need to produce here. Okay, now let's talk about the economic considerations of that. If everything is produced here, things get more expensive. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Certain goods and services become inaccessible to certain kinds of people. That's not very populist. Yep. I you know? With that. Yeah, you know? Yeah. So I'm probably losing people right now because I know a lot of people in my audience are MAGA, and that's fine. I love everyone, but guess what? There are just some things the MAGA movement thinks of and agrees with that I think are ridiculous. It is ridiculous to want to keep out people from other countries just because they're associated with what people think are cultural changes. Let me give you a little bit of a secret. From the conception of America, from the preconception of America, whether it was in the colonies with New Dutchland and all the other various ethnic and social groups that came here, there have never been a single time in America where every single ethnic and social group were on the same exact page as it relates to many different beliefs. Culture has always been a dynamic quantity in this country. So, what am I saying? What I'm saying is this idea of this unified culture in which everything is the same across all places doesn't exist, and it ignores the considerations, the very complex considerations that material reality compels us to consider. Now, does this mean that we don't need to have some kind of similarities in how we approach people? No, of course not. This is what the American ethos is about. The American ethos is primarily concerned with understanding the importance of freedom in all aspects, whether it's expression, whether it's in movement. It's concerned with understanding the importance of the individual. It's concerned with those foundational tenets. But what happens beyond that is not going to always be cohesive and the same across all timelines. The principle of variations is a guiding, animating principle of the world. It's a guiding from the very root of our physiology, biomedical individuality. From the very abstract world that I think is reflected in the real world of mathematics, which I'm not really good at, but last night, a friend was teaching me the Pythagorean theorem because I'm embarrassed to say I hadn't really got it until recently. Now I understand that Pythagoras was considering the nature of a circle, a nature of a triangle. Excuse me.
Triangle.
The nature of a triangle, exactly. And in the nature of a triangle, you can define certain things, even if that in not all triangles are the same, but many triangles in Pythagoras' theory have like a right-sided triangle will have 180 degrees, I think. But there's still, even amongst triangles that are similar, mm-hmm. there's still variation. Mm-hmm. It's not sameness. Mm-hmm. So when you reject these very foundational principles, you're rejecting things in themselves. You're rejecting the nature of reality. And a political ideology which runs athwart the nature of reality, what does that do? Well, that's a fruitless ideology that will ultimately end in terror. So I don't.
I do think that I do think rampant to piggyback off that. I do think rampant MAGAism distracted us away from the core values that America was being built upon, that you've just discussed, liberty and freedom, and these God-given rights. And this is why we see people with American flags on their trucks, and we immediately assume they're the craziest Trump supporter we could ever meet.
Yeah, now look, there are some things.
This weird attitude we have towards the flag, especially in young people. As a young person myself, I guess I can speak for us, that we have.
There are some things.
Waving the flag around.
Yeah. There are some things that Trump got really, really right. There are some things he got 100% correct. I think that his attack against critical race theory was a stroke of genius. I think that his insistence that America will not continue to fuel the military-industrial complex and its fetishistic desire for destruction and avarice, genius. I think there are a lot of things that he did that were great. And there are many other things that he did that were not so great. He didn't really he didn't really challenge the intelligence apparatus the way he claimed that he would. He rattled a few sabers with them, but like the NSA's prison program, which authorizes the roving data collection of Americans, which violates their right to be secure in their persons and papers, is still very much in effect before, during, and after the Trump era. He didn't challenge that. He didn't challenge that. The Patriot Act, or the USA Freedom Act now, which authorizes clandestine operations, many of which infringe on our rights, is still very much in effect. He didn't challenge that. The military-industrial complex, he challenged their ability to produce more weapons and so forth by limiting the amount of wars and conflicts we got in, although he did bomb a base in Syria, I believe. He challenged that, but he didn't rip up the roots from the ground. He didn't cancel all contracts with them and close the hundreds of bases that we have around the world and say the U.S. military will be a standing defense force, not an emissary force that polices everything in the world. He didn't challenge that. It makes me angry when self-professed libertarians and people who claim to be conservatives look at Trump and say, that's what we exactly want in a leader. No. You want that bravado. You want that energy, that masculine energy, which is aggressive, because you think that's what a leader needs to be. But sometimes a leader has to be very meek and very soft. Speak softly and carry that big stick, right? That's one of the few things FDR said that was even intelligent. FDR was a dangerous man in many ways. He's actually responsible, in my opinion, for the creation of the social welfare state. Actually, I think he's probably almost single-handedly responsible. I think some of his precursors, like Wilson and so on, helped foment the ground, helped toil the ground in the American cultural landscape to make those things very attractive. But FDR went all the way. The New Deal went all the way. And that philosophy, I'm sorry, you can speak, Mom, I'm sorry, I'm on the road right now.
No.
That New Deal philosophy has influenced and confused moral relationships. A lot of Americans cannot understand the relationship between what one deserves and what one works for. There's a moral relationship between your labor and what you deserve. And most of the time, if you don't bring your labor into a voluntary contract with someone, you don't deserve anything. But with the entitlement system, that's been turned on its head, and it says just by living, you deserve something, with no moral basis beyond the fact that, but beyond vain emotional appeals. You see what I'm saying? When you confuse moral relationships and make them about what you want them to be and root them out from their objective basis, what happens? Well, you don't really have a very stable system of morality. You get utilitarianism. That's one of the biggest things FDR did. Anyway, sorry.
No,
I'm on a rant. Please go. Please go.
No, I liked what you said about that. The bravado is what they wanted. The ultra Trump supporting MAGA conservatives. Yeah, the qualities you want in a leader aren't just all bravado. It's a tough balancing act, for sure.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
good.
Look,
no, it was good.
I know. I probably can't clip that out though, because people will jump on me and, Christian, you hate Trump. No, I don't. I don't hate Donald Trump. I'm a nuanced individual, son. I you know why I don't have. I mean, people are DeSantis is really popular. Oh my gosh, people love Ron DeSantis. When I mention that DeSantis doesn't really care about property rights and he wants to pursue his own kind of indoctrination, folks are like, oh, how dare you? Yeah, DeSantis is very good on vaccines. He's very good on vaccines. He's
putting people on a pedestal. That's putting people. Yeah. You're really putting somebody on a pedestal when you get defensive about counter arguments about that person on a pedestal.
Yeah, look, no, DeSantis is really good on vaccine mandates. He is perhaps one of the best governors in the country. On that issue. Sorry, I'm texting Mikey right now. He's about to come on. Okay. So I'm nothing against DeSantis personally. He's the governor of Florida, one voice. But I have a lot against, the sort of idolization. Anyway.
Yeah, idolization of politicians. Like of celebrities, it's one thing, but now I guess politicians are celebrities, and we still have that propensity to idolize or confuse politicians with like movie actors. It's like, no, these people are creating laws and legislators. Like they're dictating how you live, depending on where you live. It's like they're not just movie stars. You should be very careful about who you celebrate, really.
Exactly. And look, I'm gonna lose some people for saying that, but that's okay, man. Look, if you
but they were never interested in what you had to say in the first place.
Precisely, man. Precisely. So
you don't have to keep gaining numbers all the time. Losing followers is just as important as gaining them, because the people you lose aren't your true fans. It's just as important.
You're right.
You're all about nuanced conversations, and here you are having a nuanced conversation. If they unfollow you, they didn't want that.
Right. And look, it's really easy to succeed in this industry, in the media. Real easy. You say a few magic words, you look the right way, you have the right qualities, you're a star. It's much harder.
At what cost?
Yeah.
It's that desire to have the fame and the recognition and that power. I'll forfeit truth for recognition any day. Whatever. It's not.
We're not going to do that.
Valuable. It's that. There's a lot of people in power who do that. They forfeit truth for power. And then they start believing in their own lies.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Thinking themselves wise.
Their followers start believing in their lies too, and then you unveil the curtain, and then they can't handle it. They get all defensive.
That's right.
Like their God image of this person, this idolized person, is shattered, and then they don't know how to handle that. So.
Right. Exactly. I was thinking of gods. That's an interesting thing there, but we'll talk about that a different day. Politicians are the same. What can I appeal to? What heartstrings can I tell? Exactly, yeah. No, politics is mostly an emotional process these days. When you can accomplish a few things, you can make politics anything you want it to be. When you can divorce politics from its proper place, which is to concern the governing of matters that preserve my rights, and you can extend it to mean all kind of other different things. You can extend it to mean, does my child have daycare today? You can extend it to mean, am I going to be able to eat today? When you can extend it to mean like the difference between life and death, then politics becomes much more emotional than it does rational. That's right. Yep, it does. And this is a theme that is very popular throughout the West and elsewhere too. Politics of what do you mean? What do you mean by that, Bob? I've always wondered what that meant. Because I don't think, does that mean that all political decisions are ethical decisions? Actually, maybe it does mean that. Actually, yeah, that makes sense to me. Actually, yeah. Actually, that makes perfect sense. Now that I think about it, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like all political decisions concern ethics in some way, shape, or form. Not that they are necessarily ethical.
The best bet to influence politics: honey traps.
And also around, Mike's going to be here very soon. Around 4:40, we will be doing call-ins, I think, if he's okay with that. And so if any of you want to just talk to the three of us, please hop on the stream and I'll give you the link around 4:40. So we're doing call-ins, and so I'm very excited.
How did you get into Mike's orbit? How did you?
Walk away. So I have an admiration for a lot of walk away folks, and
I'm
so
actually
I
unfamiliar with what that is. What is it?
walk away is this movement of people to leave the Democratic Party. Um,
Hmm.
and it was a very highly organized campaign by a guy called, oh, there he is, and he's looking
Oh, maybe
fabulous
he'll be able
too.
to
All right,
explain.
yeah, maybe he can explain for us. Hopefully he can.
Yeah.
Maybe he can explain to us. All right, hold on, let me bring him in. All right, everyone, please welcome Mikey Harlow to the stream.
Hey,
Hello,
what's
sir.
up, guys?
How am I? Your energy, man. Your energy is
So
right
sorry.
there.
Oh God, don't ever get Spectrum for your internet. They are demonic.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind. I will keep that in mind, my brother. How are you doing, sir? It's good to finally talk to you.
Good. It's so good to see you.
Yes, I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time.
Yes. How are you guys? Tell me, what did I miss?
You missed me ranting about populism and things like that.
Good rant or bad rant?
It depends on your perspective.
I was talking about bad populism.
Yeah, well, I was talking about how I think populism can be used sometimes as like an emotional tool to like dominate politics, and that can be bad in many cases. Then I was also talking about the dynamics of populism too, like how they touch on a lot of relationships, like the people who are in power, people who are not in power, things of that sort. I know you have populist sympathies. So
yes.
I think you have populist sympathies.
Yeah.
So I'm actually interested to hear your opinion on this. What is populism to you? And after that, I'll ask you about walk away real quick.
I mean, I think if you look at how unbalanced everything is right now in terms of, the people who make the rules not having to follow their own rules and everything like that, I think to me, populism is sort of about rebalancing the system a little bit and bringing some political power back to the little people, I guess.
Interesting. I do think there is a case
I always wonder though why. I don't know. I mean, I understand that like people who are disingenuous can use it for negative ways and stuff, but I never really understand like what the opposition to it really is.
Right. So I think that populists have a tendency to make certain political issues very simple. Like, for example, let me give you the example of companies going offshore, right? Sending jobs offshore. A populist might say, okay, since Nabisco is offshoring their property to China, American workers are getting hurt, or Mexico, American workers are getting hurt. Therefore, that's a bad thing. Well, they don't really explain the economic relationship behind that action, which may actually justify that Americans are not getting. Some Americans are getting hurt, but actually most of them are being helped because the prices stay low. But the populist says, no, we have to buy American and sell American. And they don't really explain what that means either, which could mean that you have higher prices, you have less, the common folk have less ability to access certain goods. I think sometimes populism can simplify things, but I do think that populism has a good point when it says that the elites are out of control. I think that they are out of control, and there are elites, they do exist. And I can touch base there. It's just some of the other stuff it's a little concerning to me.
Yeah, to me, I think that's sort of like the different, because like, especially if you look at conservatism, it's just been an abject failure for the last like half century. So that's sort of the difference to me between the two, is that I feel like nowadays conservatives are look at Kristi Noem, when you have the world on flames falling apart and she's like, oh, government shouldn't stay involved. So to me, that's sort of the difference between that and populism, that I think these conservatives are like, oh, government can't do anything. And I think nowadays more of like the populists and the Trump types are more like, hey, here's a problem, let's solve it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So let me ask you about walkaway. Well, first, I know that Brandon has been, there's lots to cover there. I know that Brandon has been going through something, and I support Brandon. I love Brandon. I hope that he comes back. I hear there is some kind of revival going on. You may not be able to tell us about everything, but why don't you just say what Walkaway has meant in your life for you and what the future of Walkaway could potentially might be?
Oh, it friggin' will be. Like, you know, there's
will be okay.
Yeah, first of all, not tell you guys that, like, you know, I'm not very good at keeping my mouth shut, but they're coming after him like nothing you've ever seen. Like, you know, once it seems like it's about to be done with, there's a new thing. So, you know, there's nobody who actually thinks that Brandon did anything wrong. It's just, you know, I think he's very effective at bringing people together and waking people up to this cult. So no, for me, I think I appreciate Walkaway more too, the more that I sort of venture outside of it and deal with other sort of right-leaning groups who are either useless or really fake, or I don't know. But I think so for me, I think Walkaway is mainly like a very diverse group of people in every way, that it's not just conservatives or Republicans. It's just sort of anyone who isn't a crazy communist right now. I feel like it's sort of just like nut job leftists versus everyone. But yeah, no, I think there's a huge future for Walkaway. Like because I think especially something that really bugs me about the right is a lot of times they're just sort of more happy to complain and be against things than to be part of any sort of solution.
Without holding no punches.
What's that?
You were holding no punches tonight, Mikey.
Oh no, please, never. But yeah, no. So the thing is, they got banned from everything, like not just social media. They got banned from like banking and payment processing and all that. So they've been working this whole year on building their own platforms that are totally independent from like the corporate leftist complex of everything. So yeah, they built like their own platform, their own ways of payment processing, all that that's going to launch. It's sort of basically the relaunch is just waiting for all of Brandon's stuff to be over and done with, which will hopefully be soon.
Interesting.
But I think we really brought a lot of people together.
Oh yeah, of course it did. I went to one rally in Atlanta. In fact, I saw you there.
Which one? What?
There was in front of CNN.
I didn't know you then.
No, we didn't. I saw you there. I saw you. You were standing around, and I saw you. I'm like, oh, that's Mikey. Interesting. I had known you from YouTube before. I'm like, oh, it's Mikey. He looks taller than I would. Than he does in his videos. So I'm like, that's Mikey. I just didn't. I was a little bit shy back then. This is back in like 2020, right? I think so.
You?
I was a little bit shy back. Yeah, I was a little bit. Oh yeah. I wasn't shy. I don't. When I meet people who I know from the internet or who I know from like media in real life, and I don't have an established relationship with them, I kind of like, I'm like, okay, I know your persona, but I'm not sure how this is going to work out. And this is with everyone, but I don't do that anymore.
Not worth knowing anyway.
Oh dear. Well, that's what I hear. That's really what I hear. That's what I hear.
It's true. It's horrible. That's why I love people like you guys and like some of our friends who did it's nice to stick with the good people.
Yeah, look, Paul and I are trying to really challenge the discourse here. That's what we're trying to do. We're really trying to really challenge the discourse, really change the discourse. And
I was watching last night. I was having a marathon of your show. You guys are good at this. I feel like you're so like you guys are just like professors or something. I feel like, so inappropriate coming in here with my dick jokes.
We haven't heard them yet. No, but well, a marathon. What all of you watch? I'm curious.
What was the one I was watching? You had the one about what the hell was I watching? I forget the
white
one.
White's premise. What
I don't even know.
Stuff?
It's been a while.
We had one that was about white person stuff. I think.
You were talking about the debate you did.
Oh yeah, on Foxhole. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But wait, so have you guys like sort of always been more right leaning, or did you change?
I'll let Paul. Paul has not talked yet, so let me just let Paul.
Okay. Hi, nice to meet you, Mike Harlow.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's just been you two. to answer your question, right now in my life, I'm politically fluid. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I understand the left-leaning argument. People need these things. They need help. Let's help people out. And then some days I wake up and I'm like, okay, the arguments I'm hearing from the woke left have like corrupted the classical left-leaning views. I kind of sympathize with the more people who are in like this corner of the internet. I don't know if center right is appropriate to say. I said that to somebody on one of my shows. I was like, yeah, center right. George Orwell was a huge lefty. He's put on a pedestal in right circles, like fucking fight the power. And I'm like, yo, George Orwell, social democrat. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. But he was like a real brave character in the sense that he stood up against bad ideas from his friends that he was saying. He was writing about like the pitfalls of anti-fascism, et cetera, et cetera. And I try to approach these conversations and these ideas of politics sort of through the lens of like common sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I can sniff, one of my superpowers is being able to sniff narcissism from a mile away. I see this leftist woke ideological crap is nothing but narcissism on speed, essentially. So I suppose that answers that. I'm at least not a libtard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, but like, so.
Wow. Go on. Sorry. Oh, go on.
So yeah, so that's basically what I was saying though, is I feel like it's kind of like the crazy radical left against everyone.
Yeah. And I will I should be able to say that too. Like, if we should know who the offensive people are so we know who to avoid. Like, okay, well, this person's saying some shit I don't like. I'll make my informed decision to avoid them. I don't need YouTube to tell me who to avoid. Why can't I come up with that decision myself? If I don't like South Park, I don't have to watch it. I don't need Facebook Joe Biden telling me to not watch so-and-so speaker just because they say something that's politically incorrect. We think we're being told how stupid we are. You can't decide for yourself who to avoid. We'll tell you who the misogynists are. Like, it's pretty obvious. You can tell.
Yeah, but it's their ideology is just so superficial in every way. Like, you see how, oh yeah, they care about misogyny until, listen to black voices, not this black voice. Listen to gay voices, not this gay voice.
Yes. I didn't know who Thomas Sowell was until 6 months ago, man.
What?
I know. No, really. Like, I had no idea who he was.
He's the GOAT.
I know.
Yeah, he's one of the most oft-cited right-leaning intellectuals, especially in anti-woke circles.
What about you, Chris? Were you always like more conservative or like?
Yeah. So let me go through my evolution, and I vacillate between the term conservatarian and libertarian because a lot of folks don't understand what it means to be conservatarian. And I try to explain that it means that I believe that, and Murray Rothbard called this, the great libertarian intellectual, he called this just libertarianism. But I believe that America has certain traditions, and those traditions were founded upon the natural equality and freedom of the individual human being. And I want to preserve those traditions as much as possible. But I do not want to preserve them at the expense of sacrificing that foundational principle, which is liberty. There are some conservatives who are willing to preserve traditions at the expense of certain kinds of individual liberty. So in that sense, I'm conservative in the sense that I want to preserve certain things about the American ethos. In the other sense, I'm not, because there are certain things that are none of my business, that are none of any sort of correct ethical authorities' business. And Murray Rothbard would have called me a libertarian. He called Frank Meyer, who was one of the sort of progenitors of the fusionism, the conservative and libertarian union, a libertarian as well. So I don't know. I call myself conservatarian, but I don't know. But when I was a younger guy, I'm 21 now. I don't look like it. But when I was much younger, I was like a religious conservative. Like when I was like 11 and 12, I was like a Christian conservative, like a Ted Cruz.
That's where you got the preacher thing.
What's that? Oh no! I got the preacher thing from watching a lot of televangelists. I grew up in the Pentecostal church, watching a lot of televangelists.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's where I got that. Watching people like T.D. Jakes and stuff like that just go and preach and scream, and that's where I got the preacher thing at. And that just happened. If you were to look at my earlier content, like the content I made like 9-10 months ago, where I had a different kind of graphical setup. It was like me and the talking points board. You wouldn't see me preaching a lot. Well, maybe you would in some videos, but in the first few ones, I didn't preach a lot. I was just very calm, like, hi guys, this is my message today. As I kept getting more passionate about things, I kept getting into the mood of my passions, and that's when I just released myself to them, and I began like screaming at the top of my lungs, raising my hands. It's really not intentional. When I feel something,
it's natural.
No, it's great.
It's natural. It's natural, right? And
so, it doesn't seem like you're faking it.
And
I don't. Like, do I sound like a preacher? I'm like, yes, and it's amazing.
Can we ask? I wanted to ask you the same question you asked both of us. What was your exploration with politics like up until now?
I used to be like total brainwashed liberal Democrat for most of my life. Even now, I wouldn't say that I'm a conservative. I mean, I'm definitely a Republican. I think.
Sure.
The Republican Party sucks. They are so awful. They are the second worst party, but we're stuck with them, I think. For me, I think the best way forward is to just take over the Republican Party. But yeah, I wouldn't really consider myself a conservative. My friend has a podcast that he calls himself conservatish. I think that's basically me. I'm like
conservative. I like that. Yeah.
But I think where it's sort of obvious that I'm not, because it's funny sometimes, over the couple years I've been doing this, I always say I'm like, hey, I'm not a conservative. And I think sometimes people think I'm joking when I say that. So I'll say something that's not really conservative, and they're like, oh, you're not a conservative.
Yeah. I was going to ask, like, what reactions do you get? Because I'm sure people look at you and they put you in this box. Like, this guy's must be the most fledgling liberal I've ever met.
Hey, I hopefully don't look like one. No, sometimes people say that I looked like I was an Antifa or something.
Whoa.
Jesus, I shower, though. It hurts.
Oh, wow.
No, but I think because I'm from New York City. I was born here, lived here forever, and it's like you're just not told a different way. You're not told that there are different opinions in the world. Even I went to public school here, and they had club communism, and they had teachers with posters of friggin' Che Guevara on the walls, and they did homework assignment, write an essay to why he's your hero. It's crazy. So. So up until I sort of just learned otherwise the last maybe.
How did you learn otherwise? What was that like, learning otherwise?
For me, it was sort of like my own life experience that had brought me there, I guess. Suddenly, things started to change very quickly, especially around 2015, 2016-ish.
You discovered Jordan Peterson.
What's that?
And then you discovered Jordan Peterson, 2016.
It was kind of before he was. When did he come around?
2016, I think, was when that video went out. When he was in that group of the people. Yeah.
Yep.
I just had a bunch of stuff happen in my life where I saw up close the hypocrisy of all of these social justice warriors that I was around, and as an artist, I was. This is what I always remind myself when I sort of regard. I don't want to say regret, but whenever I feel ooh, should I have never spoken up? Should I have never said anything? Is that for people like us? I don't think we would have ever.
That's a really interesting point, because a lot of the arguments we speak up against are clothed in benevolence. Why are you speaking up against anti-racism in the classroom? You can't. I've said this before. It's I sometimes think that I'm being an asshole because it's called anti-racism, but then it tricks you into not wanting to speak out against it, because then you sound like a racist because you're speaking out against anti-racism.
That's always what government propagandists do, is that they name things the opposite of what they actually are. I mean, look at, whether it's Antifa, whether it's the Patriot Act.
Yeah, it's therefore you're a fascist because you're speaking out against Antifa.
Yeah, well, I've always said that it's mendacity is what it is. Before you can have a revolution, a political revolution, you must have revolution of the mind. And Vladimir Lenin understood this principle quite well, which is why when he seized power in the early 1920s, 1919s, so it was sometime around there, in Russia after the revolution, he quite literally began to change language to reflect the social relationships that he wanted to cement as inviolable in the minds of people, of all people. And people began speaking in that language, and people began convincing themselves of that language. Now, there's this person in the chat here. I don't know who this person is. I don't even want to acknowledge them. But I'm not sure if you can see the chat. Can you, Mike?
No, but now I want to.
Okay, let me put it up on the screen since you want to see it.
Oh my God.
Okay, who is this individual?
Let's address this right here, Jacob Brockett.
So,
this is my friend Stalker. So a good friend of mine went on maybe a date or a couple dates with him years ago. And it's like some swim fan fatal attraction shit. This guy has been stalking him for years, calling his work, calling his family. And now he sees fit to stalk not only his friends, but his friends' friends. Because this friggin' guy finds anything that I'm on, anything that my friend... Watch, he's going to stalk you guys now just because we know each other. I'm sorry for that. So, yeah, not just my friend who he stalks, but now he stalks me. Now he stalks anyone who knows me, literally finds any podcast I'm on, any channel that I'm on, and here he is. So you need a life. I'm sorry, Patrick still doesn't want you. This is why. Maybe, improve yourself. Listen to Jordan Peterson. Listen to what Jordan Peterson has to say. Improve yourself. Improve your life. This is pathetic, dude. And, I'm sure if you, got help, maybe some hardcore drugs, you could, be somebody who's semi-desirable. I'm sorry, do you know how many people don't want me? And that's cool, and I move on with my life. Move on with your life.
Psilocybin.
Sorry for that.
Nice ayahuasca trip.
Right.
This guy literally just goes to, anything that I'm on.
Okay. That was interesting.
Clean your room.
I don't even know what to do with that one. So
what am I hypocritical about? Tell me. I mean, not him because he's sick in the head, but.
So here's what I think, and I think you've touched on a point. I can make this a teaching moment, okay? Because what no, not entirely. And the drama's following him for a reason.
It follows me. See, I don't.
It follows him. Right, he's not looking. He's unfortunately, and I am.
You focus so much on somebody else. That's a huge red flag.
Okay.
It's I gotta keep myself up here on this guy's life all the time. Come on.
So here's I'm leaving his comments up for a reason. This is a teaching moment. So you tell me this individual is upset that one of your friends rejected him, and therefore he's been stalking people your friend knows just to get back at your friend. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think he may be dealing with something here. So and this is for everyone, and I'm not talking to you two, but talking to everyone here. I guess I am talking to you two, but I'm not addressing it towards you two specifically. Okay, it's everyone. This is for everyone. Look, you have finite energy as a human being, and you have finite interest as a human being. And you live in a world of finitude as a human being because time is also a finite thing. And your body operates on certain cycles. So your body will quite literally put you under if you press up against your limits too hard or if you don't obey the rules and laws of time. So we have REM cycles and sleep cycles. So these first principles of finitude are very important to understanding one thing: usefulness. It is not useful to pursue someone who doesn't want you. It's not useful to them. It's not useful to you. So if someone rejects you, the best thing for you to do is just walk away. Really, ultimately. I mean, you save energy that way. You save time that way. You can be more productive that way. You can find someone who likes you that way. As someone who has been rejected by men all of his life, what? I have found. I'm not joking.
We got to talk about that. You're wonderful. I don't get it.
Well, yeah. We'll talk about that later, in a moment. All of his life, I have learned the hard way. I will be honest. I used to be the kind of person, I wouldn't stalk, but I would keep asking guys questions. Why did you do that? Why am I not good enough for you? I used to do that a lot. It never helped because they never could answer me really. They all just shrugged their shoulders and walked away. So I began to realize that they're getting sleep at night while I was sitting up worrying. So as I've gotten older, as I've gotten mature, I've learned to do better. So this is not worth it, Jacob. And I'm hoping that people can learn from your example here. Now you ask me why do I get rejected, Mike? It's a good question. I have no clue. I have absolutely zero clue. It is weird, isn't it? I have no clue, man. But
I'm telling you, there's just something wrong with gay people. There's something wrong with like 99%. There's just something wrong with them, I swear. Well, it's the truth. You know it.
Yeah. A lot of gay men suffer from mental illness.
But it's like
I'm serious.
No, I agree. It's like either it's untreated mental illness, like this charming individual, or they just drug themselves up on so many pharmaceuticals that they don't feel feelings and they're just a zombie going through life.
Or harder drugs, or harder drugs.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's disturbing.
No, I used to be the same way though. That like, because you'll never get an honest answer from a guy with anything that I used to. I so rarely like somebody that I'm not very good at that whole like.
Okay, Jacob, hold on. Okay, Jacob, we're gonna put you in timeout, buddy. We're putting you in timeout.
What did I miss?
He's talking about pills. Okay, we're putting you in timeout, Jacob. All right, sorry. Okay, that individual needs help. Okay, sorry.
I'm against that usually, but I think this guy definitely needs them.
Well, yeah. So he's gone. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Jacob, I'll see you on the next show I'm on when you show. It's so funny too. Like other than him, like I have this little group of people on Twitter who are just obsessed with hating me. Like even after I block them, they'll still be responding. They'll like log out to respond to someone who responded to me, so they could still respond to my tweet. Like
this is the most important thing I could be doing with my life.
I know. I wish I cared about anything as much as these people care about me. I'm like, thank you. You make me feel very important. I'm not. But
no, I'm curious though. Now I have seen on the topic we were talking about before. I have seen you post about your dates with people, and about now. Look. I think I've only ever had one date in my entire life, and not by choice.
That guys watching.
No, not gonna happen. Anyway, I had one date in my entire life. It's the truth. I have one date in my entire life, not by choice. One date in my entire life, and it was a Marxist. I was dating a Marxist.
Why haven't you made a video about this?
Yeah. No, I didn't make a video about. Did I make a video about this?
No, why haven't you?
Oh,
that's prime content. I wish I could. My content sucks.
I just made a video like that. I had a date.
So I dated a Marxist, and he was like a card-carrying Marxist. Like he was a fan of Slavoj Zizek, the academic that Jordan Peterson debated. Like he had a memorization of the Communist Manifesto, like a card-carrying Marxist. And I thought the date had gone well. I mean, we seemed to like each other. He seemed to be nice to me. I was nice to him. We talked for like an hour and 30 minutes, which is a little bit, long for a date, in my opinion. And if a date lasts longer than that, I would think it was going well.
Then it's a good date. You really like each other. No, it's not.
But afterwards, he ghosted me, which was surprising because in person he was like, "Oh yeah, well we can hang out again." So that's the extent of my dating experience. Most of the time,
Who paid for the meal? Both of you?
Actually, funnily enough, he paid for my meal and his meal. Like he just pulled out his credit card without me knowing.
So
he said, yes. Oddly enough, and I have no idea why. In fact, I was about to pull up my card, and he just like, no, I got it. And he just paid for both. Then he ghosted me. I'm like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, dude? I don't.
I feel like I'd only do that if I really liked someone. That's weird.
Exactly. Yeah, see, people. I meet some weird people. Daniel says, "Watch Dangerous Record." Yeah, I talked to Daniel. I talked to Daniel and Brentley for like an entire hour about my dating troubles. So it's all.
I did not expect that you talk about such things like I do.
Well, I try not to. I try not to belabor. I try not to belabor to folks with that kind of stuff. I try to remain on the broader subjects.
You know what I'll say? Like what we were talking about. We got to come back to this in one sec. But we were talking about like trying to find answers with people. You're never going to. You're never, even if you push the point with them, you're never going to get honesty.
Exactly.
And not that any of us are really all that different. Because when I think about it with my ex, I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I didn't want to say I'm not really attracted to you. I didn't, like you just want to sort of get out of the situation. So I think the best thing that people can
do is you dated him, and you weren't really into him.
Well, I wasn't for. I I don't know. It was like, ooh, somebody really likes me, and he was like, I don't know. I thought
Interesting.
Because the thing is, I'm just sort of the type of person that if I really like someone, I can kind of tell right away. And I've always been told that that's a bad thing, and your feelings should develop for someone. So I was like, okay, maybe my feelings will develop more, but they didn't really. So, I mean, he was just such a good person that I really wanted to feel something, but I just didn't.
Well, a lot of it's not a choice. I mean, a lot of it's not
dating guys. Believe me.
Oh, Mikey, that's not good to say.
But it's true.
A lot of it's not a choice, though. That's the biggest thing. A lot of it is not a choice. Because here's the thing that gets me. We're attracted to what we are attracted to. Now, the one thing that I will say about this, though, is that when the issue of racial preferences comes up, I am always confused.
What do you mean?
Because I'm confused. I don't understand how someone can say, okay, this person from this race, who can say any person from this race I will not date. I just find that weird because you haven't met every person from that race. That's weird to me. It's like when people say, well, I only date black men or I don't date black men. I'm like, why do you only date black men and why won't you? Like what's going on? You know.
Yeah.
That stuff just strikes me as odd.
It is. I mean, I think it's just another example of them being very superficial and having these ridiculous specifications.
Yeah, well, it definitely happens. Yeah.
I think what I was going to say though is I think the best thing that like people can do is to like you got to find answers within yourself. You know.
Yeah.
And for me, the same thing. This just happened to me. I went out with this guy that I was like nuts for a couple months ago. And the same thing always happens to me all the time, that a guy will come on stronger than strong, ridiculously strong right away. Oh, I like you so much. I've never felt this. And it's weird because I feel like when you really like someone, the last thing you want them to know is that you really like them, you know? And it's like the stronger they come on the first date will be the quicker they drop you for the second. So I looked into this term. So a friend of mine had told me about this term love bombing, and I looked more into it, and everything suddenly made sense. Like it's what narcissists do.
What's love bombing?
It's basically that. It's when you sort of come on very strong and project this on somebody for your own ego, and that it's sort of, they say that they have a process of, what is it? Love bomb, devalue, discard. So it's like they'll love bomb you and come on crazy strong. Then they start devaluing you, and then they discard you. And that's always what happens. And it always has very little to do with you. It's always about their ego and them projecting something on you.
That's weird.
I like that you said they have to find it within themselves. Yeah, that self-awareness is just so integral.
Okay, Jacob, I put you on timeout. Now you're back again. I don't understand.
I told you so.
What's going on with you, brother? Oh my Lord, this is
love bombing you.
This is more obsessive than I've ever done in my life.
This is like,
and hey, young Christian used to be like this with people. He used to like really push it. Well, not like this extent, but. Not to this extent. All
my friends work and contact.
Okay, no, I can't. I've never done that. I've never done that. But there, like, if I used to use apps, I don't do that too much anymore. But I used to use like Tinder and stuff, and so like I would like go up, and if someone on Tinder like matched with me, then they ghosted me. I used to like go up to them in person and say, "Hey, what's up?" And they would like be so scared. And I'm like, why are you scared? I'm right here. He's like, oh, well, I just don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm having a calm conversation with you. We're in public. Like, what's going on? Hi, how you doing? How's your day? How's class going, man? He's like, what's going good? I got to go now. And just ran away. I'm like, are we so? Anyway, that was like me 4 years ago. I don't have time. I don't have the time or the patience or the energy to do that. I'm trying to do something else with my life that doesn't involve that petty stuff. So I don't have the time for that crap anymore. And I don't think anyone should really have the time for that crap either. It's not worth it.
No, it's not. This guy like comments on any show that I'm on and just pretends to not know who I am and is like, I don't think you should have guests like this. He's so terrible. I'm like,
So what I was going to do, Mikey, we typically do call-in shows here on Dangerous Frederick. on Moral Pet. Excuse me. I was thinking about Brentley and Daniel, who are here with us. I was thinking about them. Those are two great gentlemen. I was thinking about them for a moment, and that came out. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, that's what's so cool. Like, that's honestly been the one thing giving me hope recently, because everything is just so miserable and depressing right now, is that, like, because, I was traveling with Walkaway for so long and stuff. I've been around so many people who are some like the more well-known people who do this, and 95% of them are so friggin' horrible that I feel like lately I've really become friends with you guys, like people who are kind of like more just starting and stuff, like I am also. That are like actual real people who are very
real
and
put it.
Because a lot of these people, I've been banned from so many things that a lot of these people, either when you have a controversy or when you get banned from platforms, suddenly they don't know you anymore. And I don't even say that because of any personal thing. It's just, this is why we lose. This is why the left controls everything.
Well, look, let me say this.
It's emblematic of a deeper issue, I think.
A few days ago, I had a video that went semi-viral about how the left does not like black individualist thinkers like me, and I gave a philosophical break. Thank you so much. It went semi-viral. We got by 6.4 thousand views now. And when that video went semi-viral, I heard from people who I hadn't heard from. Some people that you even know, Mikey. I will not say his name, but you know this guy. I won't say his name. I will not say his name. I'll DM you.
Someone I don't like.
Well, I don't know. I'll DM you afterwards. But like, this is someone you know, and I hadn't heard from him since like November of last year. All of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, Christian, I really like your video. Can you please share my videos for your YouTube community? And could you come on my show?" And I'm like, First of all, I helped you make your show, and you cut me off after a few weeks. I wasn't going fast enough for you. You ignored me for almost a year, and now you see me doing good, and you're like, "Oh, dude, let's collaborate. Share my videos, please." And I'm like, "What? Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think I'm an idiot? What's that? He's gay. Yeah, we can't say any names, though. But
no, I won't. Boring gay guy?
Oh no, if he's boring. Look, I
have an idea who it might be if it's a boring.
You've interviewed him before.
I know who it
on
is.
your channel. Oh, okay. Oh, you know exactly who it is.
I know exactly who it is.
Okay.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay. You know what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. This right here, very chiseled. Okay. All right. Oh, wait. What do you mean the same thing happened to you?
Exactly what you said, basically.
From the same person.
Mm-hmm. From a lot of people. Not
from the same person.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
I'll tell you after.
Man.
Are we doing?
Man. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll talk.
Are we having
hold on. I typically do viewer call-ins for this show. Here's the problem. If we do one, and I don't want there. Okay, so Mikey, first, are you okay with people calling in? You got a smaller crowd. Okay. If this Jacob guy comes on.
Bring it, bitch.
Oh dear. Oh, okay. Knowledge Problem Podcast. How you doing, sir? That's a great show, guys. Check it out, please. Knowledge Problem Podcast. Great show. Check it out. Check it out, man. Check it out. I love that show. It's very good. Okay, so I'm gonna put out the link.
The algorithm did it for me. The algorithm made me do it.
Ew. Why are you saying ew to me? Okay, anyway. Okay, so we're gonna I don't know why they're saying ill to me. I might have to get rid of them. Okay, so we're going to send the link. We have a smaller crowd, which is what I prefer for Collins. We're gonna send out a link, and if you guys want to hop on the stream and talk, please feel free to. We're gonna do this until about 5:15 because I got a interview to do after this, so we're gonna do this for a little bit. But yeah, just please. Yeah.
You were talking earlier about how busy his day was. I'm like, I just went to Starbucks.
You see how tired I am, right?
My internet company all day.
You see how tired I am, right? But we
find you someone though. I don't accept this. Oh, no one learns better on a date. No.
We'll see. But
What's your type?
we'll
What's
see,
your
Mike.
type?
I like all kinds of guys. That's the problem, though, Mikey. Most guys don't like me, so that's.
Most guys are sick in the head. You need someone who's not.
Most guys are shallow. That's why. All right, guys. So if you want to call. That's nice of you, Mikey.
Who are you banging?
Mikey.
Got a great girlfriend. I was talking about her earlier. Yeah, she's into literature. She's an English major. She's into education. She does stand-up comedy too.
Oh my gosh, she sounds awesome.
She is.
See, Christian, there's something wrong with gay people. Not us, of course. Mike, we are perfect.
Your compliment means a lot to me. I'm happy you said that.
Everyone watching knows that I speak the truth. You are wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the link was posted in the chat. I don't know if
so if you guys want to call into the show and get on here and talk to us, we don't bite. I don't bite. I don't know about Mikey. Maybe he does.
Sometimes it takes a while.
I leave that to your imagination.
Oh God. Okay. I'm terrible for that. Excuse me. If you guys want to come in, the link's right there. You can come talk to us. I love having guests call in. It's nice. It's always cool to have people call in. Jacob, if you want to call in, buddy, you can do it. I mean, you're quite boisterous in the chat, and so I want to see what's going on. So yeah, maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't, but they'll pop up.
Is it a call-in show? Like they can show their face?
Oh yes, they can show if they want to. They want to. They don't have to.
It could be.
This is probably the most one of the more exciting episodes of Moral Power.
Yes.
I'm
honored.
Paul, what do you think? What do you think about all of this?
About all of what? Of all of like you guys?
This? The excitement. The excitement.
For the first time, I'm a minority. This is great.
Yeah, we got to do more of these. It's so cool because I'd watched both of your stuff separately. I watched your interview, Paul, that you did with Dan, but I didn't realize until I watched your show last night that you did it together.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I saw that.
Funny, like I was actually going to slide into your DMs and asked if you wanted to do my show after doing Daniel's. So
what's that?
I was going to ask if you wanted to do my show too.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. That solves that. I don't need my PR agent to do any work. That's easy.
PR agent, that's fine.
Cool.
No.
Yeah. Where do you get your headbands from?
What's that?
Where do you get that headband?
I think just like on the street somewhere. That's the one thing that's cool about New York is finding cool tchotchkes on the street. I'm a whore for tchotchkes.
You're still in New York?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Look, so I was born in Pennsylvania, so I am very familiar with New York. The city, I'm a city person, Mikey. I love the city. I love what the city could be. But
exactly.
I was in New York right now. I would be probably arrested, jailed, fined, brutalized because I just wouldn't be following these unjust regulations. Requiring all men restaurants to have masks.
What's that been like? Have you had to do something IRL, Mike? Like, what have you been asked to do, and how have you handled that situation?
So two things.
So he's here. Oh, Jacob's here. Yes.
I was really interested in.
Bring it.
Okay, excuse me. Okay. So should I add him?
We can save it for my show. Whatever.
Okay.
We'll
pick this up later. We'll pick this up later.
Okay.
Hello, Jacob.
We'll put this up later. Hello, Jacob.
Hello.
Mute your computer, Jacob. Mute what's in the background.
Mute your computer, Jacob. Mute.
Kind of everyone knows how that works, but
he's a boomer. How does computer work?
Okay, Jacob.
Oh, okay.
What's
no, show your face, bitch. We're here showing our faces.
Oh,
we're
no.
Not on TV. Here, show your goddamn face. There it is.
Oh.
Good looking.
Oh. Hello.
So everyone, this is the face.
Because you have to be good looking to be.
Hi.
Here,
Okay.
So
How you
wait,
doing,
I
Jacob?
have so many questions for you. Like, what is wrong with you? Because, like, you could have, like, so many more things going on. I don't get.
What do you think I have going on?
Nothing. But you could. That's what I don't get. Is I feel like you're kind of just making the choice to be insane.
It's not really a choice. I don't know what's considered insane. What have I done that's insane?
So it's not a choice. So is it just like mental illness that's untreated, or
choice of doing what? Like, Mike, honestly, your Twitter is trash. Like, all you do is go on there and scream like a banshee.
Do you know how
It's
many people
okay because that's what people do on Twitter. I know. I don't actually.
I totally am. So like.
All right. Okay. Let me try to moderate a little bit. Okay, Jacob. Okay. How are you doing,
Yes.
Jacob?
I'm good. I just finished some calculus 2 homework, and I figured out, like, I saw this live stream, and I was getting on. I didn't think that doing that is criticism of I don't have a life. So it cracks me up because that's what love does. That's what people, you criticize my stuff. You don't have a life or something like that.
Well,
that's my favorite thing from Mike Harlow is that's his defense.
Okay, hold on.
No, stopping Patrick for years on end is more.
Okay,
I have not. That is a lie. That I know that's so much of a lie. Ask him for the receipts. Ask him for the years.
Okay.
Ask him. You're such best friends with him. Ask him for the receipts for how long I've been stalking, because I know it's a lie.
Okay.
Just go ask him for the receipts.
7 days, not a year.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay, gentlemen.
Gentlemen. We were friends.
Gentlemen.
This is not since I was 18. So we were friends.
Okay, gentlemen.
I'm just talking for me. Like, I'm not.
This is not the Real Housewives, gentlemen. Okay.
Okay. Well, then why did you have me on? What were you gonna ask?
Okay.
You were asking for me to come on.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, Jacob.
On his channel.
Okay, Mike.
I can't hear Mike Harlow because he's screaming too loud. It's booming
Jacob.
The mic. I can't hear.
I'm going to give you one more chance, sir. I'm going to give you one more chance to let me speak. All right, Jacob.
Okay. Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
No,
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Jacob, you're a very handsome man. That does not give you the right, Mike. He does not give you the right to act like you're acting. What I sense from you is a sense of entitlement. A lot of guys who look pretty think they're entitled. You don't have the right to act like that because you have some muscles and because you got that scruff. It's very nice, by the way. Act like you're acting very pompous. You're acting very pompous. You're acting very pompous.
How am I acting
conceited?
Pompous? That's very.
Just the way you're carrying yourself, my brother. The way you're carrying yourself.
A phone camera right now.
Just the way you're carrying yourself.
Trying to
Okay. Just the way you're carrying yourself, my friend. You're acting a certain kind of way. Let's get to the root of this. How did you first find out? I just told you you're acting conceited. Okay. How did you first find out about Mikey? What's the story behind this?
Through politics, probably about 5, 6, maybe 5 years ago now.
I've been doing this for 5 years.
Okay. So 15, when was the first interaction?
When did you start? It's whenever it was towards the beginning of Trump.
When was the first interaction between you and Mikey? When was the first interaction?
Maybe a month ago?
Okay. And what did that interaction consist of?
I'm asking Mikey, he's right there, maybe a month ago?
Oh, yeah. It was when I spoke up for my friend after years and years of being stalked by this charming individual.
Okay. So Mikey's
Where are the
claiming
receipts for that. Like, that's wrong. Like, that's a lie.
Okay,
So you
your
found out
behavior
about me a month ago, and it's been happening for years. So
Wait,
if
what?
it's been happening for years, you just found out about who I am a month ago. That doesn't make any sense.
I
if
knew
you've
about
known
you
Patrick
for years because I've seen all the shit that you've put him through, the torment of
I've
stalking
never
him,
put him through anything.
His family contacting his work.
Where?
You just decided to come after me a few months ago.
I've never done
You're
that.
the wrong fucking person. Believe that.
Okay.
Well, because you're a hypocrite on social media, so
What am I a
just
hypocrite
don't
about?
like it, and I think it's wrong that
okay,
people
Jacob,
like you have a prominent voice just because you're on Twitter, just yelling like a banshee. Like it's just because you're on.
Okay, no, hold on.
Jacob.
Jacob,
Let him say what he wants to say. Just let him say what honestly. Try to let him say what he wants to say. Really.
Okay.
Well, I mean, why are we muting mics? Like, that's a problem.
Then don't listen to me. What am I a hypocrite about?
Wait, whose mic was muted? Mine was, just because I wanted to. But
mine was being muted.
I'm trying to keep decorum. Okay. So Daniel asked a very good question. Why don't you do your own thing on Twitter? Okay, Jacob, why don't you do your thing on Twitter? What's going on?
Well, I don't waste my time going online screaming like a banshee. Like, I just don't do that.
Okay, evidently you do.
I have a Twitter account where, like, I do follow politics and different.
Okay, and you claim to have been watching my content before Mikey came on. You claim that?
Yes.
Really?
And then I had seen you on, what is that, the Dangerous Rhetoric, and that's where I had seen you.
Ask how he found them.
Well, how did you find them?
They were recommended to me through YouTube.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. So
please, they're on like YouTube's most wanted list.
No. Okay. So Brantley, who's sitting in the Brantley and Daniel, I love both of you, man. I'm not. What I'm about to say may sound a little bit harsh. I don't think that they're being quite recommended to people quite yet, my friend.
No, it's not that. They tell too much truth, and YouTube hates them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably not why.
Before I got banned, and Instagram untagged them from it. That's how hated they are.
So that's probably not why. Okay, so Jacob, why do you feel the need to one up Mikey or try to correct Mikey? If you don't like him so much, don't you have the ability to just not?
I guess I'm nobody in whatever y'all are doing. So does it matter?
No.
Yeah.
Does it matter to have one critic or something?
Okay, Man of Faith is talking. The Man of Faith.
Okay. Political conversation is worthwhile or
Man of Faith
worth
is
anything.
talking.
Like the videos of the dates and stuff like that. Like, obviously, most of that's either over exaggerated and mostly lies.
Okay.
No reason to go out and
have
those kind of conversations or do the same thing.
Then
I don't watch it. I watch like a clip of it and I'm like, this is stupid. Like,
you're still talking
like,
about it. We're doing something right.
So within the time of all this happening, I unfollowed from you because I did follow you through politics.
I blocked your
I didn't even know who you.
Ago. Look at his account; they're dedicated to fucking Patrick.
Okay.
He's pretty awesome.
Okay. Mr. LeCrone.
You're the one that injected yourself into the Patrick stuff. And I did not. You were not even mentioning any of that.
And I'm not going to let one of my friends be fucking abused by someone
because it's lies. It's lies. So
Mr. LeCrone. Okay, Paul. Okay.
There's no receipts.
Okay,
there's no,
Mikey,
there's
hold
no
on,
proof,
Mikey.
Okay,
Jacob. Okay. All right. Paul wanted to say something.
I don't know if my question was just your question, Christian. I don't know, Patrick. I only know both of your histories together. This problem you've had, like prior to this podcast, I don't know the relationship between you two, Mike and Jacob. My only question was maybe a repeat of what Christian's was outside of this problem with Mike's friends and calling. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know if it's true. It's not. That's not what I'm trying to say. if you dislike Mike, you do have an opinion that you're entitled to your opinion. I dislike Robin DiAngelo's work, but I'm not like seeking her out everywhere online. Why did you decide to interact with this podcast with Mike? Like, I understand you have the right to watch him.
Because again, Mike interjected himself into something where he decided he was going to push out the same lies that someone else is telling him. He's only met twice outside of 2-3 years ago. So like this is someone that he's saying for his Twitter friend, but he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know anything about him. So and so for saying I stalked someone for years, you have no proof.
Okay.
Because it was admitted on Twitter. You did that because Carlin then goes online because you have profiles where you stalk Carlin. And you follow profiles where people stalk Carlin. Yes,
what are my profiles?
Seen it through Carlin.
What are my profiles?
Through Carlin. What is it now? I don't know. Carlin's Backbone now, or
that's
Backbone
me.
Is I think the new one now. Which is the same one that she actually had removed. That's you and your friends she knows are on Twitter doing this stuff. You're on the profile typing away.
Yeah, they're fucking hilarious. I love that person. I wish I knew them.
But you're doing the same thing. You're over here critiquing me for it. So isn't that?
I'm not doing anything.
That a hypocritical thing?
I'm not doing anything.
It's a hypocrite. Like that's called
I don't
being
like
a hypocrite. So that's why.
I don't watch your
whenever
stuff.
I'm calling you out for being a hypocrite, you get upset and you bring up this Patrick thing. You perpetuate lies, and then I have to defend myself. But I don't get on Twitter. I don't have Instagram. I run an art business. I wait tables. I'm in school for engineering. Like I do stuff. I have family, have friends. I don't worry about that kind of stuff. So whenever I do put my opinion out there, I'm now considered someone that doesn't have a life. So that's your argument against me every time.
Okay.
I'm a stalker of one of your friends you hardly know. That's another defense for you every time, which isn't true. I haven't even talked to Patrick since we even had our little debacle. And that was
the debacle
months
ago.
And I just reached out because I hadn't talked to him in years before that. And because I think people are redeemable, I had reached out, and he did not like that I reached out. So whatever me and him have, you are in the middle of, and so that's why I've decided, like, I'm just gonna call this person a hypocrite on everything.
I am so happy. I am so happy that I am.
Just go on his Twitter.
I am so happy.
Just go on his Twitter and then watch his videos and then watch his conversations with other people. They don't match up. Don't match
Here's what I don't understand.
They don't match up.
You clearly could have things going on in your life. You just said you have a business, you have a job, you have a degree. So, like, I don't get why you're choosing then for this to be your life unless you're just
for like minutes a day. Like, I've been on here for what? How long has this been going on? This doesn't take much out of my day. I literally just all my
quite a while.
It doesn't take much.
Amount of time.
Like, you're sitting here doing the same thing. You're sitting on Twitter doing the same thing.
Because I enjoy this. I'm here with my friends.
I enjoy political conversations and politics, and so that's why all of y'all have intermingled into what I watch on YouTube or even interact with.
Okay. First of all, I have told you repeatedly not to talk over me, and you have done so. So we're not going to have that here, not in my house. Number one. Number two. Again, just because you look a certain way does not give you the right to act this way. Now, I am assuming that that's why you're acting this way. You're acting entitled. I can't hear you, my friend. I muted you. You're acting entitled. Now, to answer your original contention, you said if Mike is able to come out here and talk about politics, you should be able to come and do so as well. You can. But guess what? There are plenty of people in the political world that I do not like, that I have, like Vosh, for example. Vosh, I don't like Vosh very much. Social Super, I'm not a fan of his. Do I go to his streams and like comment and attack him all? No, I don't. Because guess what? I operate in a world of finitude. Okay, even if Mikey did, now he does, by the way. He doesn't do that. Even if he did, do two wrongs make a right? Even if he did, theoretically, even if he did, two wrongs don't make a right. I can't hear you. Okay. I'm going to unmute you. If you talk over me, you're out.
This is a conversation. You can't mute someone's mic and sit there and say, you can't talk over me. I haven't talked over you. There's a delay. So if I'm in the middle of, just stop me. Just say, hey, Jacob, stop. And I'll stop. But no one's doing that. So just don't mute someone's mic and then sit here and have this lecture going on that I can't respond to. One, I'm not acting entitled at all. Just having an opinion about someone that is putting his opinion out there. I'm an artist, so if I put my artwork out there and someone doesn't like it, and they're saying this is shit work, like this doesn't look like anything it looks like a baby did it. So I have to tell that person they don't have a life and they need to go find better things to do. Like, that makes no sense if you're from the right, if you believe you have the right to free speech. Like, what in the world do you think that Mikey over here, Carlin, is someone, he does the same thing you're over here trying to lecture me on not doing?
What do I do?
You go on profiles literally mocking her and you go out. I've seen it.
Ooh, I liked someone's tweets. How horrible.
But you go on these profiles outwardly wanting to talk about this person and wanting to.
No, I don't at all.
You know, I haven't watched The Real Housewives
and you support people
for about
that
7
do
years.
That. Like, you do it.
You know, say what. Okay, cool. Say whatever you want about me, but the real issue is just you being a stalker.
You document it all on Twitter. It's
okay.
There.
It's so there. Jacob. Okay, because we got to move on to our next guy.
Yes, sir.
But before we do so, you said that you watch my content. Do you really watch my content?
I watch this and I watch you on the other Dangerous Rhetoric channel. That's what I said. And I liked you through that. And so whenever I came on over to your channel through seeing that, I liked what you had to say.
And Mikey just happened to be here when you decided to come over.
Because when you follow someone, doesn't it notify you that there's a live chat going on?
I've done a few videos since that Dangerous Rhetoric podcast, though, and I haven't seen you comment on any one of them.
What about Chrissy Marr's channel? What about Toad's channel?
Like, I really don't know why it's questioning the fact that I'm on your channel. Like, I'll just quickly unsubscribe and just move on.
Oh, bye.
Like,
bye. All right, that'll be fine. All right. All right. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. All right. Can't deal with that insolence too much.
I will just go back to what I said earlier. There's something wrong with most great people.
Okay, I can't deal with that insolence. Hi, sir. Hi. How are you?
Hey, yo.
Hi, you too.
Wait, hold on. I got to sound.
Hello.
Now it's a party.
What's up, guys?
Now it's a party.
Hey, yo. Wait, we're doing headphones? That was fun.
No, I like the new haircut. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I don't take kindly to being insulted by idiots.
You guys aren't getting any echo on our end, are you?
No, you're wonderful.
Okay, here's something.
You two look so happy.
That was kind of entertaining. I mean, it was kind of entertaining. It went on a little long, but it was entertaining.
Okay. And then there he is in the chat. This is some
lies. You cut people off.
I told you.
Oh, look at the comments.
Oh Lord.
Lies again.
Okay, Paul. Okay.
Lies.
I feel like Paul right here is dying inside right now.
I feel bad. Sorry.
See, I don't go looking for drama. It just finds me.
These people, dude, miserable. They're miserable people. Anyone who takes this amount of time and energy to follow someone around has to be miserable. I don't understand it. Like, I don't waste my time following people around who I don't like, criticizing, commenting on everything to do. Every time they appear on someone else's podcast, I got to go on there and I got to comment on there too. I don't have time for that. I don't understand it, dude. Like, dude, you have your homework, go do your homework. Like, you have your little art business, go do your fucking art business. Like, why the hell are you over here following someone around on the internet?
I just wish I cared about anything.
Evan D'Angelo is doing a live stream. I'll be right back, guys.
And then he says, oh, I watch Chris's show. You know, I like Chris. I'm here because I like Chris. I'm dude, the way you're behaving and acting on Chris's channel is disrespectful. Clearly, you don't watch his content or have any.
And evidently, look, a lot of my listeners act a certain type of way because typically listening to me is I think it's like a soul renewing experience. Not trying to toot my own horn, but I think that it gives you something a little bit different. Well, but anyway,
so brass band is warming up.
Anyway, but a lot of people, who listen to me, a lot of them tell me, well, Christian, you've changed the way I act and the way I think. And I didn't do anything. I just gave them tools that they already had access to. They just needed to have their eyes opened a little bit. And someone who follows me typically doesn't act like that. from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Now everyone's different, but like that's not how. Anyway, Fulcinon asks. He asks, "Do you feel enriched?" Okay. Do you feel enriched by? Okay, we're putting you in timeout. Do you feel enriched by today's content? What do you think, Paul?
Do I feel enriched? Well, now I do because look who's got on.
I'm just glad you didn't go to Dylan Roman's Twitter. I was like, please don't do it, Paul. Don't do it.
I did on my screen. I just.
Who is that?
Were you okay?
I was okay. Yeah,
Who is that? Another crazy?
No, you don't need to know. We'll talk about it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to separate the like drama that I don't know about with Mike's friends and him. Like, I was trying to like, did he knows one of your friends? I didn't get the full story. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, and I was trying to ask like, why are you here? I just want to know like, why was he here? Everybody is entitled to dislike. He doesn't have an answer. There's people who dislike all of us. That's fine.
No, his answer was that
it's a problem of like thinking that you're.
I hope Bob's not here, man. I hope Bob's not here.
His answer was for Christian, but that was clearly a lie. He doesn't follow Christian's content. He says he heard about him through our show, and the only reason he knows about our show is because he stalks Mikey. And then he was commenting on our show, like insulting things for no reason.
I thought it was hilarious when you were like, I don't think it's true that YouTube recommended Dangerous Race.
Shit, yeah, no one knows who that is.
I wish it was.
There's no way anyone's recommended.
I was not being derisive. We
thought it was funny, but it's true. I mean, YouTube has like basically shadow banned us. We've had,
make sure
videos taken down before. We've had our content flagged for things. I mean, living up to the name, I guess. But the point is, like, we're definitely not being recommended to people. I doubt our channel is big enough where we're all of a sudden popping up on Jacob's.
Yeah, no, you
don't miss all the fun drama, ma.
Oh, yeah.
No, okay. So typically, Mr. LeCrone and I, we don't, drama is typically alien to our streams. We have deep, intense conversations about psychology and and so,
You're spending your energy.
No. But we love.
Porn is your bloody art business. Oh God. Well, I've only been doing this for 45 minutes, so my customers will suffer all they want.
I love Mikey, so I don't mind this. I just want people to know this is not the typical kind of show we do. This is very different kind of. We've done 6 episodes so far. This is perhaps the wildest so far.
Well, your last solo show was very interesting. Brett and I did watch the entire interview today with Dylan Roman
Dylan.
So I mean,
So is this somebody we don't?
I thought it was interesting. I did. I thought it was
look. Dylan is an OnlyFans porn star. Gay OnlyFans porn.
I knew you were doing that.
Yeah. He's a nice person. I think his life. I think his. No. Look,
when you say someone's a nice person,
I'm just laughing because I know Chris was being very patient and polite during the discussion, and let's just say Dylan. I think Dylan couldn't keep up with Christian, and I almost felt like Christian was kind of toning it down to try to make sure he could. I'm just gonna leave it there. There was a lot of pauses. That's all I'm gonna say of Dylan thinking really hard.
I mean, I wouldn't expect like OnlyFans porn star to be like freaking Nobel laureate.
I'm sure some of them are smart as hell. I don't know, but
Dylan opened up.
Like,
no, he didn't. He didn't.
Hot dog down a hole.
No, he didn't do that.
That is not true.
Look, I feel like
that is not true.
Dylan struck me as someone who never had to actually think about some of the things that Christian posts to him before. That was the impression.
Is this about like porn stuff, or is he a leftist? Was it political?
No, Christian was kind of asking sort of more deep philosophical questions about the nature of relationships and sexual activity, and it just seemed like those weren't things that Dylan had really
ever thought about,
or maybe that people had in his life hadn't posed those questions to him yet. So it was just interesting to observe the differences, especially, considering Dylan is somebody who's had a lot of sexual activity and very public sexual activity, whereas Christian is much more private and reserved. And, it's just fascinating to see. You guys were like almost polar opposites in a lot of different ways. So watching the interaction was interesting. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. was different.
Oh, well, I'm happy you guys liked it. A lot of my audience, and I bet even a lot of them were probably kind of turned off by it today
I
a
haven't
little
seen it. I
bit
was
too,
majorly.
because it's different. Look, when I say stuff about multitudes, I really mean that. I mean that, yes, there will be some times where the theme of this channel will not seem consistent, but you need to be used to that because it's going to challenge you, it's going to challenge me, and we're all going to grow together. So, yeah, sometimes I may have some spontaneous drama erupt, and you know what? I'm willing to have it happen. Hell, it made me smile. And if we're still smiling, think we're still alive, right? And this made me smile, man. It made me smile.
Look, I'm glad it happened. You know,
I
and
feel bad for
too. I think it shows what like this guy like Jacob is like on the inside. You know, it like they reveal themselves. We don't have to do anything. Like Gato says with the authoritarians, he's like, I don't have to do anything. They do like 90% of the work. I just retweet them. So I think him coming on here, he kind of showed his true colors, and
he is quite handsome.
We're over here. We're happy. He was, yeah.
He was okay.
I was like, hey, he's a good looking dude. Like,
but the problem is that doesn't. His personality makes him seem less handsome.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
That is a thing. You know, someone
I'm very excited to
very
watch.
attractive, and then they open their mouths, and you're like, oh.
Everything came back to him.
Yes.
I was the new follower. Who the fuck cares about? Come on. It's always about you.
I feel bad. You invited me on your channel, and I brought this
today.
train
I
wreck
was
with
a
me.
new follower.
Oh no!
Try myself to
This
sleep
is good
tonight.
stuff.
Thank you very much.
This is good stuff. This is good stuff, man. Look.
Very
You're Italian, aren't you? Right?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, he's
comes
still
out
talking.
in certain moments. I'm more of a reserved Italian.
Lies!
My grandmother grew up
Italians?
My grandmother
He's still
grew up
talking.
Yeah, I'm a straight Italian. My grandmother grew up in Sicily.
Nice.
Oh,
We are
nice.
also
My
Italian.
family's from Napoli. What?
We are also Italian.
Yeah, great.
Lots of Italian.
Make great
Italian.
podcasters. We can just talk as loud as we want.
Why do you guys not gesture as violently as I do?
I'm pretty
Oh, I
like,
do it all the
see me
time.
on the show.
Daniel
like,
gesture.
I definitely use my hands.
On the YouTube. When it's
Great
just me talking,
audiobooks. Another one of my followers.
Pretty
so I
happy,
appreciate
hate you guys, want to lie, and my personality is perfectly fine. Look, I think anyone who thinks their personality is perfectly fine isn't working on themselves. I think anyone who thinks that highly of themselves, there's something wrong there, man. Because I'm not perfect in my personality.
Oh no, I'm a train wreck.
None of us
No one
are.
is.
You know, so I think the fact that you think your personality is perfect, you should reflect a bit on that.
You can be a polite douchebag. That's absolutely
Yeah.
possible.
Why?
That's misinformation.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Go away.
Can we shift gears for just a second?
Whatever.
Yes,
I wanted
please.
to ask
This
you guys
drama
what
is
you
tiring
thought-
me out. Please.
What did you think
What
about
is
what's happening like
Boyd
right now, like with Afghanistan? And I don't know if you saw Joe Biden's press conference, but he's melting down. He can't even like complete basics. He was like having like real
blast.
like so. I'm just watching it, and it's like a train wreck in slow motion. And
Did you see the journalist who cried?
No.
There was a journalist, I think,
I heard about it. I didn't see the video.
who
So
drama was
what I-
crying when he was talking about his son.
what I think happened. Okay, so what's happening right now is Biden's PR team is trying to basically make him project strength. That's why he came out there and he threatened ISIS and he stood up very tall. Body language, you can detect a lot in body language. But the problem is a gladiator can only project so much strength when he's wounded. And Biden is more than just wounded. I think that he is at this point has been incapacitated in some senses. So he's trying to project strength when he has no foundation to stand upon in the first place. That's number one. Number two, I think that he does not have the mental capacity right now to really understand the full extent of what's happening. That's my personal opinion. This is just from observation. So you have someone who's trying to be strong, who's being basically guided like a puppet by his handlers, and someone who doesn't really understand the full capacity of what's happening. You have someone who is not ready to be a leader or has any business being a leader. You have someone who is, frankly, in my opinion, incapable of doing anything without being directed. So I think that he is, unfortunately, he's not melting down per se. He's simply acting he's acted for the past few years or so. And None of us should be surprised. We knew this was coming. We knew when Biden was in the primary. I mean, I literally sat behind him on a stage in Iowa. I was there for a class project, and he basically just walked out, and he was like crunched over. And John Kerry was in the background, and his voice was hoarse and raspy. We understood that this guy was not really going to be able to do this competently. So, yeah, that's what's happening here.
Do you think he's going to step down, or do you think they're going to have to kick him out?
No, it's not. Come on, Jesus Christ. Look. Sometimes I think people go on these fantasy chases where they hope something happens. Biden's not going to go anywhere. Now, do I think that his political career has probably ended after this? Yes. This is political suicide for him. No one is going to forget this. There are certain events that define certain presidencies to the exclusion of almost every other event. For Reagan, it was largely the Iran-Contra situation. For Nixon, it was Watergate. So there are just some events that define your presidency. And yes, for Kennedy, it was the missile crisis. There are some events that define. Okay, Falcon, no, hold on. No. Confirm Christian supports. Oh dear. Okay. Anyway.
Shake his hand that he sniffs.
I don't support Biden. I don't know where you get that from. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
I can't believe that this is real life. It's just so depressing. I mean, it's already so depressing, everything that's going on with the mandates and everything. But I just can't believe that this is real life. I mean, no, I agree with you that he's probably not going anywhere because he was put there for a reason. He was selected by his party for a reason. We all know the reason is probably he's just the perfect puppet. They've all got their hands like this. And, maybe it's like the last year has kind of made me more tinfoil hatty. But I honestly...
Oh, watch it. Mikey, watch the conspiracy stuff, man. Watch it, buddy. Watch it. Be very careful. Be careful. Be careful.
Okay,
be careful. We don't want to get banned. Be careful.
I'm not saying that I think that I'm just raising a question. I find it impossible to believe that supposedly intelligent people, all the people around him, couldn't have known what was going to happen, what any person with half a brain knew. So I almost wonder if there is a plan behind it that we don't know about.
Well, interesting piece of news on that matter. A few days before the bombs went off, I think there were 5 bombs yesterday. 2 days prior, the head of the CIA did have a meeting with some Taliban people. So as to what the content of that was, ostensibly it was probably about, withdrawing, our people. But one has to wonder, what else was being discussed in that meeting?
To me, it just seems like they almost wanted the Taliban to get all those weapons too. It's like, why would you pull out in that fashion and then not prearrange to get that stuff out of there? It's just suspicious to me. So I can see why people who are very conspiracy minded immediately are going to just be like, well, this.
Bye, Don. Thanks for watching.
I'm not. I just don't believe that these are stupid people.
I understand. I think there's probably a reason. Yeah.
I think you guys underestimate the height of
an agenda. I could be
wrong. You guys underestimate the heights of incompetence.
It's possible.
Yeah, but don't underestimate the heights of pathology and just how.
No, well, sure, but okay. So I don't know why any political advisor would have this happen. But what I do know is that the government is a traditionally incompetent entity, and almost everyone at every level of the government is traditionally incompetent, even if they are incredibly intelligent. I think this is simply a case of incompetence, and it's also a case of not. So here's a few things that happened with the Afghanistan thing. So President Trump is the one who forced a deal with the Taliban. That's what he did. And Mike Pompeo went over and he negotiated with them. And the thing that Biden wanted to do, he wanted to get credit for really getting America out of the war. So what he did, he put the withdrawal deadline to September 11th. Right? If Trump had been in office, it would have been June or whatever. And so Biden kind of extended what Trump did and kind of converted it to his style so that he could claim credit for it. But in the process of doing that, he overlooked a few key things. So I think that from an observation, we can deduce this is probably a case of severe incompetence coming from the highest levels and not people who want to. The Taliban was always going to get back in Afghanistan, whether this happened or not. I think they were just waiting for the right moment to strike. So no, I don't have any reason to believe that the CIA wanted that or whatever.
The reason why
I do have reason to believe that.
I'm finding it a little hard, I guess, to agree in that sense, just because you're speaking about Biden as if he really is making all of these decisions. And I have serious doubts that he is making these decisions. There's definitely people making these decisions for him. Just look at the way he does his conferences. He has little notes there, and he's told what questions to ask and who to talk to. He's clearly being directed. I don't think he
okay. Well, okay. Now we're drawing inferences, though. Now we're drawing. Right. No. Yes. He did say that. He did say that. But okay, so this is the thing, though. This is the thing. So we go from the idea that he is having people who handle his stuff for him, which almost every president, except the last one, does. Every president has someone who coaches him what to say. That's just what happens. Except the last one. The last one was just unpredictable. He just said what he wanted to say, which was a good thing, by the way, in my opinion. Anyway, so yes, every president has that. But do we take that to the conclusion that there must be something sinister going on, that there must be something intentional going on here? I just don't see how that logically follows. I don't
know. I tend to lean toward that position just because of the track record.
I don't know. For me, I think it's kind of suspect that the media is sort of turning on him now, because I don't think, like CNN and all of them, I don't think that they really say things that are unplanned or that they aren't sort of given permission to say. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm sort of undecided. I think both things are very possible. It'll kind of reveal itself, I guess, over the coming months. Like, if there's some sort of plan, I don't know.
Look, not everything is a sinister world conspiracy. Some things just happen because some people are just incompetent. And some people are incompetent because they are convinced by their own hubris. There are a lot of people who are dominated by hubris in government. There are. I don't think this is a sinister plan. I think that this was, first of all, why would you, what sinister plan includes a huge PR nightmare that makes the entire intelligentsia turn against you? I don't understand what sinister plan would include that.
What if they bomb Biden out? What if that's the point now? They don't want him.
Okay, they could have gotten Biden out through many other ways. Okay, if they are really sinister, Biden's an old man, isn't he? Oh, old man slipped and fell, gone. If they wanted Biden out, they could have gotten Biden out through a variety of ways. The problem is when we speculate, anything and everything becomes possible and nothing is concrete. So I
think when you're wide to the extent,
I think you shouldn't underestimate.
There's nothing to do but speculate.
Yeah. I just think you shouldn't underestimate the intelligence world and the types of shit that they are doing, the types of things that they do, and the reasons that they do them are not always clear, So
they do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They do a lot of invasive stuff, and I talked earlier in the program about the NSA's prison program and everything like that. And they do worse stuff than that. There are things that have been declassified that they are in Hollywood. They're all over Hollywood, and so they're just things that we know as a fact of where the CIA is and what they do. But I don't know. I just don't. I like to stay as much rooted in fact and empiricism as possible. And okay, Grady says,
"Hey, Grady,
it has to be believable for both sides of the public to buy." Okay, Grady, okay, man. Maybe I don't know, man. I'm not into all that stuff, man. I don't do it.
I'm not
Alex
saying
Jones
that's definitely the case.
You're still young, though. We're willing to go there.
Oh, if I get like this when I get older, then I'll be disappointed in myself. No one saw. I love all three of you. I love all three of you. But I can't do it. I used to really be into conspiracy rules. I love you too, Paul. I had a subscription. My friend had a subscription to prisonplanet.tv when I was like 12 years old. And so what I would do is I would actually watch Prison Planet. I would watch Alex Jones's daily broadcasts. And almost everything he said, Alex Jones, Owen Schroyer, all of them, I watched them like almost 24/7. That was my source of news. Then I began to think, and I'm like, does some of this stuff actually make sense to you, Christian? And most of it didn't make sense. Now, one thing about Alex Jones is he has iota of fact in his assessments, but he uses the facts and he makes these very broad claims. Yeah. So he'll use the one claim that, there are certain chemicals in the water that are dangerous to the development of proper human health. And he'll say, okay, the frog's turning gay now, which, is just an outlandish claim. It's true that there are certain things in the water, and our water policy in America is pretty bad, but does that mean that, homosexuality, anyway. So that's what people do. That's what Jones does. He takes a little bit of fact, he puts it through the InfoWars machine, then comes out with his own narrative. So it's not really fact, it's rhetorical wizardry that he does. And
I don't know. I've never watched them.
I don't disagree with that. I think
talking about elves and interdimensional imps and shit like that.
Look, the paranormal stuff is an entire world that I think is worth looking into, and definitely should not be. I'm just saying that it should not be outright dismissed unless you have actually read the literature on it. Read Jacques Vallée, read J. Allen Hynek,
I've read
John Keel.
I haven't read all of them, but I have read Blavatsky. I have read Elizabeth Clare Potter.
That's Theosophy. You got problems.
Well, hey, Theosophy has influenced a lot of New Age traditions. And a lot of them have certain ideas about spirituality as well.
Sure.
And so I've studied them, and I think that a lot of it's nonsense. A lot of it is the sort of syncretism.
I have plenty of criticisms of Theosophy myself. So
most people do, because Blavatsky was a fraud. But anyway, I don't think that someone has to know any and all occult authors to be skeptical of the claim that there are interdimensional elves that are dominating our minds, like Alex Jones.
Well, that's not what I mean. What I meant was the subject of UFOs, for example, and the paranormal stuff, and those things should not just be dismissed without having actually engaged with the literature of it from very serious, very serious minds.
Yeah.
Richard Dolan is a very good author who you should read if you want to know more about the history of the documentation of the government's interaction with the phenomenon and how they've dealt with it, ever since the 40s and 50s on.
Sure.
So read Dolan, he's a very good scholar to read on this subject.
Okay, when we talk about interdimensional elves and imps who are dominating people's minds, we're not talking about UFOs. We're talking about something else.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Those are like,
okay.
Don't you see those when you take psilocybin or something?
Yeah.
DMT.
Jones might be on that stuff. All right.
I don't really know anything about UFOs. So I feel like
I'm entertained by Jones.
Planet is enough of a mess right now. Like.
Yeah, I agree, Mikey. I stay away from that crazy stuff, man. I just stay away from it. But hey, people will be into what they're into. I'm not into it, man. I'm not into it. I'm a spiritual person. I do believe in the unseen. I do believe in the paranormal to a certain extent. But do I believe that there are imps and elves and people no, I don't. Some silly stuff.
He says that.
Yes, Jones quite literally Jones on Joe Rogan was like there are interdimensional elves that are communicating with people, whatever the hell. Just crazy stuff.
See, I've never watched. I've never been into any of that, but I think
you're not missing anything.
Year we have seen how every institution is so corrupted, how we've been lied to, how there's so many agendas that have infected everything that I think people should question everything at this point. Like, I don't know how anyone could have any trust in anything. I mean, I would think anything's friggin' possible at this point.
Yeah, indeed. Well, gentlemen, I've got to run because I've got a radio interview to do, but I appreciate all of you coming on. My apologies. I got to do it it's like 1 minute. I appreciate all of you coming on. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks so much for being here. This is awesome.
No problem. And hope all of you have a good day, all right?
That was fun. Damn.
Later.
All right.
See ya.